God damn it.
I want the truth. You can't handle the truth. Ain't the truth. No, set you free.
Yo, what's up, dude?
How's it going, man?
It's going okay.
It's going crazy. It's going crazy. Bitchin'.
You know, I was just thinking, this coffee cup, I bought this for my daughter for Christmas, and but I realized it's made for lefties because
oh no,
it only says bitchin' on the one side. So like
Damn.
like when I'm drinking it like this, it's like I don't need to read. I know I'm bitching. I don't need to like. I want other people to go, oh, dude, he's bitching, right?
Plus your mic is in the way too.
See?
Yeah, no, it's nothing. No, it's just sunshine.
And
Yellow.
I'm like, I know I'm bitching. And that's so. So I have to drink it this way, so people can see I'm bitching.
Rock and roll.
I'm not a lefty.
Rock and roll.
Well, I do some things with my left hand, but we'll
The stranger.
Yeah.
I'm a full house as usual, quarantine family's home, so I'm not in my usual spot. Actually, last time we talked, I was in an apartment. Now we're homeowners.
Oh, sweet! Congratulations.
So I'm in my sweet little bedroom,
That's awesome.
so I can get it quiet. But I wouldn't be surprised if we got interrupted by kids
all right.
or a dog or.
Hey, I'm just gonna say, welcome everybody to another episode of Face the Truth. You know, Paul, if you actually like this podcast and actually listen to it, you've heard Paul and I talk before. Paul is an awesome friend of mine from years ago who's a super talented artist, and I'm excited to talk to him. This is the second time he's coming on the podcast to catch up, talk about art, life, and what's been going on. So without further ado, everyone, please welcome Paul Roustan.
Rock and roll. By the way, congratulations, man.
What?
Because I think I was like
For what I do?
I was like episode 40 something or 50 something, and now you're at, what is this, 120?
I think you were actually 24.
No way, really?
Yeah, I think so.
So like breaking 100 is a big deal, man. So
Yeah.
congratulations on
Well,
that.
I mean, it's funny. You just keep doing it.
Yeah,
Like
I think,
I've been doing it. I think this is episode 130. So
yeah. So like that's like that's a trait that not everybody has, you know. And I think you have it, and I have it. Like it's that weird obsessive, like just keep doing it. And I think consistency is what it takes to be successful, you know. So
I mean, first of all, I enjoy especially it's been really great during this whole pandy thing, because I mean, I'm used to being in my studio all the time anyways, but I don't, I get to talk to artists every week from all over the world. And, in one way, I feel like I've been hanging out. I get to hang out with people, and it's different. Obviously it's like, oh, you can just Zoom people anyways. But, what I'm enjoying about the podcast is being able to talk to people and letting people kind of listen in on a conversation that they might never heard before. And hopefully there's some good things in there, funny things, information, inspiring things about the artist's work, things that, you don't always get to hang out with Paul. So
right. Yeah. And plus you learn a lot too. I mean,
sometimes,
kind of like when, like teaching, how you're sharing information that you already know, but somehow do you notice that you like learn at an accelerated rate when you're teaching other people?
Oh yeah.
It's really interesting. So like you're rocking it, man. Congratulations. Like it's
I
awesome.
appreciate it, man. Congrats on getting a new place. That's so cool. My wife and I are hoping, we actually have to move out of this apartment. We just found out. And it's really frustrating because I love this. I love my studio and everything.
Yeah, it's cool.
it turns out, I don't want to give away too much stuff, but basically we got screwed with a really bad contract with our lease, and there was a mixture of someone who actually owns this condo. They went through divorce, and we're caught up in their mess now.
Damn.
And so basically we're gonna have to find a place to move pretty soon. So that's fun. Yeah.
Yeah, we scored this right in the beginning of March last year, like right before it shut down. And I like the first 3 weeks of shutdown, I was moving. It took like two weeks. I moved only like a quarter mile from where we used to live, so I didn't rent a truck. I just kept going back and forth, basically.
Oh, that's funny.
And it was cool. Much nicer.
Awesome. So yeah, you're in California, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Redondo Beach.
Okay, that's awesome. So, from the outside person looking in, it seems like California has just lost its mind. Does it seem like that to you, or is that just a little? So
I'm like not a lover of media. I think they're the bad guy, and a lot of people from because I lived in Rhode Island for a while, and I obviously grew up in Chicago. A lot of people from Chicago and Rhode Island reach out to me like, "What's going on over there?" And I don't think it's as accurate as it's portrayed. I mean, I do live in a bubble by the beach. I'm not in downtown LA, and downtown LA is pretty messy right now with homeless people, and it's just like a total disaster. It's like post-apocalyptic. But I don't know. Life is pretty good here. I mean, where I live, you wouldn't think there was a pandemic for the most part, even this whole past year. I mean, people are wearing masks and stuff, but it's not as crazy as it's represented.
Yeah, because I mean, it seemed every time I hear anything about California, it's like everyone's leaving, and and I mean, I have my friend I had on my podcast last week. He just moved from I think Pennsylvania or something like that to Texas. And he said that it's almost impossible to buy a home in Texas now because everyone from California is moving to Texas, and there's like no more homes.
Well, I don't know if it's just Texas. I mean, people like Palm Springs was blowing up once the pandemic started. Everybody bounced LA because they could work from home, so they started buying these ideal properties in Palm Springs, and I think property values were selling hundreds of thousands over asking price, and it probably still is. I know that our house that we bought has gone up in significant value. Like we could sell and make a profit right now. So it's really bizarre.
Did you buy is your house an NFT? Are you real?
Yeah. Thank you so much for bringing me in on foundation.
Oh yeah, no problem, man.
I'm trying for
I
the
get 10%. 10%.
In full lifetime, right? Constantly forever.
Help me be able to afford a cup that says bitchin' on the right side.
I've been trying to upload my first NFT there. I mean, I've been on OpenSea for like a month and a half now, but for the last hour and a half, I'm waiting for this transaction to go through. I'm
still waiting to get paid for the one I sold. It's been pending.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I mean, yesterday, we transferred. My friend helped me set it up because I'm an idiot. I have a friend that's been helping me with make sure and I upload everything right because I get on there and I'm like, this is so confusing. It's just so it's a whole
definitely not user friendly.
No. Yeah. I'm just worried I'm gonna do something stupid like transfer my money somewhere else or but
it's pretty scary. It's pretty weird. But luckily I jumped in on the Bitcoin craze back in 2012 and played around with that a little bit. So a lot of I understood how much of a headache it was back then. So I was prepared for it, and I jumped in on that as soon as I found out about it. But
this whole thing is so new and different, and all this NFT hype. It was literally one weekend, everyone's writing me, dude, you got to do this. So many people are writing me you're gonna make millions, and so I'm looking into it, and then I'm starting to see artists and I have a bunch of friends of mine have made crazy, pretty damn good money doing it. I'm wow, this is awesome. And then you see some really crappy stuff that sells for millions, and you're like, what in the world's going on here? so I figured I would just give it a go and see what happens.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm kind of dipping my toes in it, you know.
Of course.
I sold one piece for my asking price, which was, you know, it's pretty good. Half an ETH, you know, that's like the new lingo.
Was that someone that you knew, or was it somebody random that bought it?
Someone random, yeah.
Nice.
And you know, I have like another one up there, but I think I might try to. I was told I can lower it, what I put, because I think maybe it was too high or something. I don't know. And I have another one ready to go that I'm excited about. It's I actually animated a painting of mine, because I've been seeing a lot of the things go that are animated and kind of have like this look, but just seeing what's going on. And then I'm actually about to drop with a gallery called FM Gallery.
Nice.
And they do like a blind box drop, and so I'm interested to see how that works, because it's going to be with a bunch of other artists. So I feel kind of good about that, like, because one thing I'm learning about this whole NFT thing, and believe me, people that are listening, I don't know anything about this. I have people keep asking me things. I'm like, I don't know. I'm still trying to understand what is happening and why anything is worth anything as an NFT. It's so confusing, but hey, if I can make an extra buck, I'm gonna, you know, I'll see what happens. But at the same time, and then there's all these people, you know, like, it was so funny too, because again, I don't know anything about this. I've got all these artists that I respect and look up to that are telling me about that I got to do this, and I got to you know, just start getting into it, and you know, it's going to be good. You can make some extra money. So I'm like, yeah, I'll look into it. And then all of a sudden I start getting all the haters. You're destroying the planet.
Right.
You're killing the planet and all this stuff. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, I it was so confusing. So then of course I have to look into all that now. And I'm like, wait a minute. Now there's like this conspiracy thing going on, or I don't even know if it's conspiracy. I'm sure there's truth to it to an extent, but it's just, I didn't expect that. And right away I'm like, man, you can't do anything right now without, you know, people going at you for everything. Yeah. I mean, and I'm thinking, is this for real? Like, are people really? And then I start finding out that, you know, right away, I'm going to be dropping with this other group as well. And they were like explaining to me about how, oh yeah, there's like this real, you know, we're actually, we're doing this right. We're actually donating a lot of percentage of our money to this environmental thing. And I'm like, what is going on here? Like, it was all at once. So I'm now I feel like I understand what's going on. But at first it was just like, I felt like I was like, everyone seemed to know what's going on except for me when it came to this stuff. And I'm like, I felt like, did I miss something? Did I go like in the Avengers when there was like the blip or whatever? And did I disappear for 5 years?
No, see, that's part of like what I'm talking about. Not liking media is like people read a little bit and then become experts and start preaching and doing. And I researched like crap about all of it, and I get it, and I explored everything from every angle.
Yeah,
and I understand how it works, and it's pretty cool because it's basically a digital art market. So it's like the same thing as if you were represented by a major gallery, and the whole scam that is the art world, basically, and why a piece sells for $1 million, you know, through an art gallery. It's the same thing. But so I've been learning a lot, and one of the big things that I learned is, for us to really have value, we need to have market value. So like if someone just bought my NFT and tried to flip it, they probably wouldn't be able to make a big profit. Like, why would anybody else want to buy it unless I have enough demand, market value, like Shepard Fairey or Beeple, or like all these big names that you keep hearing. Like if Banksy dropped a NFT, you know, that would sell high, and that could be sold for double, you know, potentially.
Yeah.
So now I've been really investigating, how do I develop market value? How do I brand myself in a way that people see my value? And so I've been really intensively researching that over the last week. And so like why I asked you if you had any foundation invites is because I spent the last month or so on OpenSea. I don't know if you've heard about OpenSea.
Yeah, recently. Again, this
That's
is also new to me.
yeah. So OpenSea is basically like anybody could do it, and you don't even have to pay gas fees to make your NFT. Basically, if someone buys it, they pay the gas fee. If someone makes an offer, then you have to pay the gas fee if you accept the offer, right? So here's a place where almost anybody can do it. Anybody can do it. You could just sign up and do it, right? But like something like Foundation or Nifty Gateway or Super Rare, you have to be invited. So right off the bat, that's like entering a select gallery, and there's already like a basic level at least of market value established, and that's why your next drop is also should be pretty good, hopefully, because there's a basic market value in that you're selected by this gallery that's going to do all the market share branding for you. And then on the other end, on the flip side, I was trying to look at NFTs as a collector and a trader. And I definitely found some NFTs. They're like, oh, damn, that's cool as hell. I want that. I got that desire, that urge to get it. And I didn't because it was still like, I'm not paying that much money for that.
Yeah.
But I see the desire. I could see why someone who has a ton of money would just like throw the money. It's just like last week, I walked into the store and I was like, you know what, man, I really want to buy another pair of Jordans. And because I had a pair when I was 13, my first pair of Jordans, and they were like the most comfortable shoes I ever owned in my life. I loved them. And I ran into this one store, like one of those classic, like New York City style collector stores that has all vintage Jordans and like super rare releases and stuff. And sure enough, there on the wall was my Jordans. They were just released this year. And I was like, fuck. And I go and look at it and I'm like, damn. The salesman comes up and he's like, how much do you want for these? And he's like, they're $330. And I was like, damn, is that the best you can do? He's like, well, we'll let it go. Slide it on my foot. And I didn't think it was going to be as good quality, but it's like as good or better. Slid it on. I was like, damn. But of course, frugal me whipped out eBay, found it for like $250. And I said, can you match this price? He's like, no. I was like, all right. And I bought it on eBay. But it's like,
That's
I just spent 200 plus taxes and everything. I spent like $280 on a pair of Jordans, and it was just that desire. Because I wanted it so bad. So that's why people are spending.
I'm still confused about the whole NFT thing. Like, it's, I mean, like I understand that it gets minted, and when it's minted, it becomes this one of a kind file. Even though I own the actual artwork, and I can make prints of it and whatever, but there's only this one NFT that exists. It's just strange that but it's again, like I said, ever since this whole thing is, it's been a couple weeks now that I've been kind of into it a little bit, and just I'm seeing the benefits and different things, and the way I look at it is from the an artist standpoint, making money. Like some people are like, this isn't going to last very long, so better, enjoy it while it lasts. But who knows? I mean, who knows what could happen? It could blow up. It could be even bigger. But for someone like me, who has hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of images that I have created throughout the years, and you're telling me that I can reuse some of those images and make more money so that I can buy groceries and pay the rent and everything else. That's pretty badass. Definitely. I mean, every once in a while I sell prints and different things, but really, to be honest, like we don't really sell prints that often. Every once in a while I'll do like a really big cover or something that, people are really excited about. And, I'll sell like maybe 20 prints or something like that. And it's a nice extra little pocket change, but this thing seems pretty cool. And it's, I've started to realize though, that even though I'm known in the art world for whatever I do, publications or illustration work or whatever, in the NFT world, it's a completely different thing. Like, you have to build up a reputation in the NFT world. It's almost like
Definitely.
it's a whole different.
That's the market share. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm not a Twitter person. Like I hardly ever use Twitter.
Twitter
but now,
and Discord, and so now I'm like trying to figure out Discord, and it's like, oh my god,
like all this kind of it's like all this extra stuff that you have to kind of play around and figure out.
Yeah, but so think about this, right? Like in 2002, 2003, the caricature world, that was when digital painting was sort of starting up a little bit, and there were so many artists that were like opposed to it, like, oh, this is stupid, there's no reason to do digital art.
I was one of them,
and here we are now. Right now it's like you probably do more digital than traditional. Right? No?
For sure. And are you there? You frozen. You look good though. There you are. Okay. You were like
oh no, my connection is unstable, it says. So now you can sell your digital artwork as an original. That's like the coolest thing ever. And like for me as a body painter, it's like obviously I can't sell originals because the models wash it off in the shower after 4 hours, 5 hours.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a cool new world. And so I think like if you think of another dimension like that's similar to ours, but maybe they started digitally and now they're like, oh, check out this, you can actually paint on paper. People would be like, that's weird. Why would you want to do that when you could just do it digital? Like that's a waste of paper, whatever, But it's like here we are now, and obviously technology's changing quickly, and we barely touch CDs anymore. Definitely don't touch, 8-track or VHS tapes, right?
Yeah.
And sometimes like I have a DVD collection, and sometimes I'll be like, I don't feel like getting up to get the DVD, so I'll just rent it for 99 cents, and just watch it on my TV.
It is so weird. Like it's things have changed so fast, man. It's just bonkers. Like, I mean, and to think of where we've gone from like when we were kids, what it took to rent a movie. You'd go to, Blockbuster or whatever, Hollywood Video or whatever it is, and the new Batman movie comes out or whatever it is, and you're not there on time. There's only 5 copies, and you have to wait, or you have to go to a different Blockbuster and see if they have it, and you wait until when's it supposed to be returned, and then you try to get there and just hope that someone is actually a good person and returns it on time. And and it's like this process of my teenage daughters have no idea. They don't understand this. And now you've got HBO Max and Hulu and all these different things on your TV, and the new Justice League Snyder Cut is available. It's just available. And I only pay a certain amount a month, and there's this. I can just watch this movie, and not only that, there's millions of things on there to watch, and it's just like, it's one of those things where it's my daughters. I feel like a super old man because I'm still like, isn't this amazing? And they're like, God, Dad, it's so annoying being around you. Like, because I'm like, oh, stop for a second. You don't understand. When I was a kid, and they're like, that's a kid. No. And it's like, I'm sorry, guys, but this is pretty cool. This is pretty cool. I mean, this is crazy. Yeah. So I'm just easily amused, but I'm still like, this is the coolest thing ever. In a way, like, I mean, the pandemic thing is just, obviously it's been the worst year. And I love going to movie theaters. It's one of my favorite things. I love to go to a movie, and I hope that it doesn't, that everything is not fucked forever, because it's fun to go to a movie, but at the same time, it's like, it's been kind of cool that things I can just chill in my house. Well, I can push pause when I want. I can all this kind of stuff. And
I went to the movies last week with my family, and it cost like $100 for everything, right? Tickets and snacks and everything. The coolest part of it was that they had to do 25% capacity with social distancing. So we got, like, I could even sit next to my kids, they had 2 seats and we were like 6 seats away in our own 2 seats, but then there was nobody around us. So that was cool. So there was nobody kicking the back of my seat.
Yeah.
There was nobody talking. And I did miss the sound and the big screen, you know. I definitely missed that. And the feel is cool, but it was in the back of my head. It was like, damn, we could have just rented this movie for $30 at home, and here we are spending $100 on this crap. But it was cool.
What movie did you see?
Raya. The
was
Last
that
Dragon.
anime?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It was cool. It kind of drug a little bit, but it was cool.
Yeah. I know. I was gonna. It's funny. I hadn't seen my daughter, my 14-year-old, for a couple weeks, and so I wanted to do something fun with her. And she loves, her favorite restaurant is Chili's, and so we went. She wanted to go to Chili's, and I was like, I didn't even know it was open yet, because things are just now starting to open in Chicago. Yeah. So we went to Chili's, and I was like trying to figure out, like, maybe I could try to, find a movie theater, and maybe we can go to a movie, because we just haven't, And I found out my favorite movie theater in Evanston is shut down, and it probably is not coming back. And then
That's
I found this, and I found this other, and it's an awesome movie theater. I love that. But then there's this other movie theater in Skokie, and I'm looking at it, I'm like, oh wow, we can go to the movies, but there's nothing playing.
Yeah.
Like, and King Kong, Godzilla versus King Kong, I'm like, that's on my TV at home, like, already. Like, that was the only one that might be fun to see, but it's like, just, you could watch it at home, and
it's definitely a tricky.
Put on some sweatpants.
I remember in like 1998, I was delivering pizzas for Giordano's, and there was one guy that always ordered online. Just one guy, and I was like, this is weird. Like, he never called, he sent, like, I think it was like a fax too, if I remember right. It was like faxed in, something like that. It was printed out, and then I deliver it. Like, he didn't have to talk to anybody, and I was like, this is weird. And now we live in a world where it's like, who calls for food anymore?
Yeah, nobody.
You don't even get to see your delivery guy. They just drop it off at your door now.
It is strange, man. Like last night, my wife, we had grilled outside at like 5 o'clock or something, but we actually really didn't eat much. It was like, we just had like some barbecue chicken and then some corn on the cob, and it was just nice to sit outside on our porch. But then, like, it's around 6 or 7 or so, she's like, I'm still hungry. Like, she's like, you want to just order a pizza? And I was like, I guess, sure. And there's this great place. They make the best cauliflower crust pizza. It's so freaking good. But it's just so weird. Again, this is another thing with the HBO Max thing, where I'm just like, she's literally says that you want to order a pizza, and I'm not even kidding. Like 15 minutes later, our door buzzes, and there's a guy with a pizza. Yeah. And we didn't even get off the couch.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It's just like,
that's what I've been telling everybody. Like we're really turning into Wall-E.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, it's so straight up. And like, that's why NFTs make sense, man. People are just going to buy frames and just like select which NFT they want on display in their living room and change it up whenever they want. Like, yeah, you don't have to frame art anime. Basically, there's no degradation, so it's always like, you just have to change your TV.
Dude, I almost got hurt playing a VR game. Grieger came over, and I was playing this VR game, and I'm like climbing a mountain, and I'm shooting wolves and stuff with a bow and arrow. And I got so into this environment where I actually went to lean on a rock. Like, I didn't even, like, it was, damn, they were dying laughing, because he's like, what you trying to lean on? And I almost totally bit the dust, man. I was like, oh my gosh, I was totally there. I could feel it.
Yeah, you see all those videos, and I always wonder, like, how do people fall for it? But it makes sense.
I mean, I was in this other world, and just like, I started to feel nauseous climbing on the mountain and stuff. And yeah, it's crazy. I was going to ask you about this past year with everything that's been going on. How has that affected your body work stuff? Because have you been able to do it as much?
I'm definitely I'm missing the fear chip. So I don't worry about stuff ever. For me, I didn't care. I was respectful for other people, of course, but for me, it was like, man, if I catch it, I catch it. If I don't, whatever. So I continued to work the way that I work. And so it limited me to models that thought the same as I do, so models that weren't afraid I would work with. And so I worked with like a handful of models multiple times. So basically in that first month, I was like, damn, they shut down everything. I'm going to all the 10 most iconic locations in LA and doing naked photo shoots at all of them. So I did that. I spent 4 hours and I went to 10 different locations, like the Hollywood sign, the Chinese theater, the Museum of Contemporary Art, like so many amazing places that would be difficult to do on a daily basis, because so many tourists and security and things like that. And I had a blast. We were walking around the streets of Beverly Hills with a naked model.
That's so crazy.
And I just been like, the last 2 years I got knee deep into YouTube, and they had, I don't know if you knew this, but when you break 10,000 subscribers, you got access to YouTube Space. And there's seven of them in the country. And so one of them happens to be like 20 minutes away from where I live.
What does that mean?
So you get access to their studios, which is all their top of the line equipment, stages, editing software, and you get to use it all for free.
Wow.
And so I was doing that like every 2 weeks, but then they shut down. They shut down before everything. Like Google definitely had the inside scoop. They shut down before everything. And unfortunately, they're not reopening. But I was knee deep into that, and I was trying to be as consistent as like we were talking about earlier, with your podcast, being consistent and stuff. And I was trying to produce content every week. And so obviously the shutdown made that harder. But I kept doing it. I did it from my, I have a studio in our house now. And I just, I would go to the model's house, or I would do it at my house, and we'd just go on location and shoot. So I've been hustling hard. I've been working my butt off.
Yeah.
Yesterday I worked like 15 hours and crashed and woke up, and I did a whole bunch of work before I barely had time to get on the podcast.
What kind of stuff have you been working on?
It's so since galleries were closed, and a lot of my normal gigs were shut down. Hollywood basically shut down. 8 advertising agencies were like, everybody was screwed up, right? So I just decided, all right, well, I'll just produce art and sell it later. So I've just been producing tons of art and building the YouTube channel, trying to get to 100,000 subscribers. And so that's what I've been doing. And in the meantime, I've been selling prints here and there. I mean, there has been a demand for prints since everybody's moving to Texas and they have walls to decorate. And I don't know, this has enabled people like us, artists, to have a lot more power,
Yeah.
And so now we're galleries need us more. Galleries want our followings to draw people in to their spaces, to help generate sales. Now it's like a wonderful time for us, especially with NFTs potentially, So we'll see. I've been working my butt off.
Now, I have a YouTube question for you. Now, how do you build up a following? Like, you have over 10,000 subscribers on YouTube?
I have 95,000, something like that.
Okay. Now, wow, you're really close to breaking. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, what do you do to get more? Because like I know some people, they have to do like a video like 2-3 times a week or more.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how it works, but because I've been doing the podcast for like, this is like going on to the 3rd year already, and I've gotten, I didn't have anybody following me on YouTube before.
Right.
Now I'm up to like 3,000 something.
So how many years did you say you've been doing it?
I've been on YouTube. This is the third, going into the 3rd year.
The 3rd year. Okay.
Yeah, this is the 3rd year of the podcast.
Yeah.
But it's weird because I have a lot more people following me on Instagram and on my Facebook and everything, and I'm like, why isn't everybody subscribing?
Right.
And
right.
it's very frustrating.
So this is what I would do. I think what you've been doing is great, and obviously you have to sort of go through a journey to sort of figure things out for your own self, like, because everybody's different. Like, one thing doesn't work for everybody. But if I was you, this is what I would do. You know how Joe Rogan puts his clips on YouTube. It's not the full podcast. It's just like a 3-minute clip. I think you should take like the best highlights from podcasts and post those clips, and then keep it short for short attention spans. And you can continue posting the long one, but post the clips too. And so that will enable you to do like 3 posts a week, which would be great. And that will help build a bigger internal YouTube following. And then you can post those clips on Instagram with the right titles and the right sort of thumbnails, and enough to give people a draw to be like, what is this? And then they watch it like, oh, that's funny, or that's super valuable, informative, whatever. And then they move to YouTube. But more importantly, you want to collect YouTubers. Like, people don't realize how valuable YouTube is. Like, it's like under the radar, but it's like, it's like this, I guess they say it's the second most used search platform. So Google's first, obviously, and then YouTube. And like, if you want to learn how to change the filter on your faucet, you go to YouTube, right? You know, and then you've been getting some great guests like Brad Garrett, right? Is his name?
Yeah.
And Kevin Nealon. Like, those are great, and those can only help you grow. And then you have like average people like me here and there. and obviously it's cool to see the varying, but the more successful people you have, the more you're going to draw in. But then it's a matter of like, how do you capture someone's attention in 30 seconds, you know? And I think it's with the clips.
Yeah, it's definitely, I'll try doing that. I almost did that after I had Patrick from the Black Keys on, and I almost started doing that after that one, but I just is so busy with different things, and so that's the hard part. Like for example, I wanted to start a Patreon page, and a lot of people have been saying I should do it, and I've been just having the hardest time just finding the time. Like, how am I going to be able to commit?
We could talk about that
to something, like, you know what I mean? Like, how do I find the time to commit to something for Patreon?
Right.
When
all right. So check this out. So I started a Patreon 2 months ago because everybody was telling me to do it, right?
Yeah.
And I think Patreon is valuable if you have a YouTube following, especially. But it blew my mind. So basically, in November, December, Instagram disabled my account. It deleted me, and then
why? Because of all the nudes?
Because of all the times I get flagged.
Oh,
and so then I'd spent like 2 weeks trying to get it back. It was a total pain in the ass nightmare. Got it back for a week, and then they deleted it again. And I was like, oh my God. So I got it back. The same day that I got deleted the first time, my plugins on my website stopped working. So photos were acting weird on mobile. And YouTube no longer made it possible for external websites to embed age-restricted videos. So all of a sudden, my whole website was done. It was destroyed. Like, I had no videos, photos were wonky, and I had no Instagram. I had nowhere to direct people to my website other than YouTube. And so I just decided, all right, I either have to go through 200 web pages and fix the plugin so people could see pictures and change all the videos to random thumbnails that link to YouTube, or I just completely rebuild my website. And I was also at the same time thinking about taking people's stimulus money with merch, you know? So I wanted to build my little shop on my website. So I was like, all right, well, I'm going to do that. And I found out that Big Cartel, which is where I host my shop, costs the same amount as my GoDaddy server. So I was like, okay, I'm just going to put my whole website on Big Cartel and ditch GoDaddy. And basically, I'm trying to do everything new without costing more money and doing a lot more work. So I set that up, and then I decided, okay, I'm gonna, usually on Instagram, I'll post a censored picture and tell people to go to my website to see it uncensored. Like, now I'm gonna do it on Patreon, and I did it with a minimum donation of $1. So if you want to see my pictures uncensored, you have to go to my Patreon and pay $1. And I was like, let's see how this all works out. Hopefully something works. And just today I broke $500 a month, 200 patrons. and it's continuing to go up just
That's
2 months
awesome.
later. So if I could get it to like 4,000 a month, which is possible, I might stop doing commissions, you know, and just focus on being.
See, that's kind of what I was thinking. What I want to do with the Patreon thing, and the reason I haven't released or haven't opened it yet is because I want to have a bunch of stuff done first ahead of time, so that way I have a little bit of cushion. Because I'm working on deadlines, and like I'm about to start a huge advertisement job right now that's going to take up so much of my time. But what I want to do is I want to do something like a few bucks a month, maybe like $5 a month, and that's it. And there's not like all these different things. It's just like $5 a month, and you get I don't even know how much, like maybe 2 to 5 hours of painting videos a month of me just drawing and painting. Plus you get the files if you want to download the actual file. And I think that's kind of a cool thing. Like, and I think of it more as like it's not necessarily tutorial where I'm like step by step, but more like you're hanging out with me in my studio and I can just talk about what's going on. And some of it will be tutorial, but it's like, it's never going to be seen anywhere but there.
Right.
Like I'm not going to post
I think that's
anywhere.
the key. That's the key. Like you could probably simplify it a lot, you know? So basically my thought with Patreon was, I don't want to do any more work that I'm already doing now. So
exactly.
Before I was uploading all my photos to my website. Now I no longer do that. Now I upload it to Patreon. So it's the same thing, different platform, same amount of work. And originally I joined Patreon and I was like, all right, this 3-tier system, did all the research, and it's like, I started like mapping out what tier was going to be what. And I was like, damn, I don't want to end up signing tons of books and having to ship them out, or, you know, things like that. That's like more work than I want to do. Or if I wanted to do like a custom sketch or something, for example, it's like, what if like 1,000 people paid for that and I have to do 1,000 sketches, you know? And it's
I know. I
don't have time for that. So then I found out that I don't remember if it wasn't super clear, but like there's the free Patreon account, the basic, and then there's the pro. And the pro has all the tiers. Basic is just one tier, and it's like minimum donation of $1. But when someone signs up, it says $5. You have to change that to $1 if you want to do one. And some people pay more. And I was like, that's what I want. I don't want 3 tiers. I just want that basic thing. And the basic thing, they take like 7% of your sales. And the pro, they take like 12 to 15%, something like that. But then you have all these extra features, like you can hide your numbers and you can do all these crazy things that I didn't really care about. And so I just did the basic, and it's like, it works. Like, again, like you just said, I don't know, 15 minutes ago, you have all these old paintings that you've done, just like thousands and thousands of paintings. I mean, you probably have thousands of things that people have never seen. You could just like post a picture, one picture a week, you know, that you've already done. And that could just be one of your posts. And there's no extra work, really. You don't have to like make a video.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like right now I'm working on a job. I started filming it, and I figured I would just work on sketches and like film a lot of things that like even behind the scenes of jobs valuable. I'm working on. And that's then
really valuable.
And no, I won't post it anywhere else but there, you know. By the way, I've got a couple of fan questions for you.
Oh, really?
So I figured what I'll do.
Grigor? It's Grigor, isn't it?
But I figured what I would do is we'll do a question, and then we'll talk about it, and then whatever. Then I'll throw another one in later. So let's do a little questions from fans here.
Questions from fans.
I have not heard these yet, actually. So
are these for real? I don't think these are real.
Yeah, I'm serious. This is like I don't always get questions from fans, but I already love this guy. This is from Rex.
Hello there, Paul. This is Rex the Tex from Arkansas. And I have a question for you about this so-called job you have. And I say that because there ain't no way in hell that painting hot chicks all day and night is work. Shit. I'd pay good money to do what you do. We can switch jobs if you want. Walmart has great benefits. Yeah, shoot, there I go again, just rambling on. I almost forgot to ask my question. So here goes my question. Are you into feet? I mean, are you a foot kind of guy? And the dirtier, the better. Like, what's your thing, man? Like, what kind of thing brings you to Pleasure Town? You know what I'm saying?
Thank you, Rex the Tex.
I'm a butt guy. Don't care much for feet. And I appreciate all the people that work at Walmart. It's a hard job.
Oh man, so not a foot guy? That doesn't do it for you?
No.
I recently was listening to, do you know what Kill Tony is?
Yeah, I went to one with you.
Oh, that's right. Duh. That's right. Of course he did. So anyways, Kill Tony, this episode was recently, this guy is like so into feet, but it's like the dirtier the better. Like he just loves the like he just has to smell. And he actually hooked up with a girl because they brought up a girl who said, would you let him smell your feet? And he wanted to like lick her feet, and they were like dirty and everything, and he was like all into it. I'm like, man, what the heck is going on here?
Yeah, people have their crazy fetishes. There's
not my thing. But you know, if that's your thing, it's your thing. But Rex, obviously, you know, he was inspired to ask that question. So
good old Rex. I think I met Rex once.
Yeah. I had two Rexes at the American Academy when I went there. Two of the models were named Rex. There was it was white Rex and black Rex. Like seriously, that's
that's hilarious.
Yeah. It was yeah, you needed a lot of paper to draw black Rex.
That was a good time going to meeting up with you at the Comedy Store.
Yeah, that was fun, man.
I was like, I had like nerves for you, wanting you to get up there, and I was so bummed that you didn't get to get up there.
I know, I was so ready.
But I was like, damn, Jason's gonna.
I was so ready, man. But you know, if they come, you know, I hope to get on Kill Tony one time, just because I just love the show so much. It's fun, but now I've got like so much more material.
Yeah,
like I've been working
more season too, I'm sure.
Yeah, I mean, it's very frustrating because, you know, I was just before everything happened, I was going out a lot and I was just loving it, and you know, and then it just stopped, and so now I feel like, you know, and I've got, you know, Steve Byrne, who says when he comes to Chicago, he's going to have me open for him again. And so I got these really cool opportunities that are going to happen eventually, you know, and there's shows that are starting to happen in Chicago. So I'm hoping to maybe get on one of those at one of these points, but you know, I haven't been able to do mics, you know, to just try things out. So, but I've been writing, and I've got a bunch of stuff that I think is really good. And so I just like practice at home. You know, I might grab like a big, like a wooden spoon from the kitchen and pretend it's a microphone, or use this sometimes just to remember what it's like to hold a microphone. And because that's all part of it, like how you know, deliver the joke and the setup and everything. So I'm constantly writing things, and
do you ever record yourself? Do you ever film yourself?
I'll record myself with like saying the material, trying to get the rhythm, and then you know, and also I also record myself to try to figure out what to trim. Like, that I don't really need to say that, or you know, it needs to flow better, you know, that kind of thing. I'm constantly editing and like, let's get to the point. Like when I first start to write something, I might like put way too much information, and it's like, wait a minute, like I'm not doing like an hour, because I mean, sometimes like if a comedian's doing like an hour, you can really stretch out an idea. But like if you're doing like 5 minutes at a time, you know, get to the point. And I want to try to get, basically what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to, you know, I want in 1 minute, I want there to be at least 10 laughs. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if I've got and if I've got 5 minutes, you know, that's like, how many laughs can I get in 5 minutes? And
see, that could be some cool stuff to post on Patreon. Some of your jokes, your self recordings. as a
I feel
test.
nervous about that though, because
Fuck that.
I don't
Who's
want,
nervous?
well, I just don't, no, I mean, I'm not nervous about doing the stuff. I don't want my stuff, like, I don't want,
People to steal it.
yeah.
Yeah,
I
I guess
got
that's
so-
a common problem, right?
I got so mad recently. There's this comic that I really like a lot. And I'm blanking on his name right now, but I'll find it really quick. You like him a lot. You can't remember his name.
Yeah, that comes with age, man.
I'm blanking on it right now. I know it's
My memory's real bad since I got in that motorcycle accident, so my short-term memory screwed up.
Let's talk about that in a sec. Oh, Sam Morrell. That's I knew his name was Sam, but I forgot his last name. Sam Morrell. But anyways, like no kidding. Okay, Kevin Nealon and I, he sends me drawings and stuff, and I'll send him drawings, and we talk about art and everything. But every once in a while, I'll send him some jokes, like things I've been working on, like just premises. Like, what do you think about this? Sometimes Kevin doesn't write me back. And sometimes he's like, oh, that's really, I like that. There's something there. And so I'm like, oh, really? And it's just nice to like kind of bounce something off of somebody that's been doing it for a while.
Totally.
But there's this premise that I came up with that I love so much. And I was like, this is going to be a great thing. And I started working on it. And no joke, this guy, Sam Morrell, he did the exact same thing.
Wow.
Like, and it was so, and he's so funny. And but it was like literally, and I sent it to Kevin. I'm like, look at this. He did the exact, remember we talked about this a few weeks ago or whatever, and he didn't respond to me about it. But I was just like, man, it sucks because
he's selling your jokes, Jason.
Yeah,
he's selling your jokes.
Yeah. That I don't think so. But
that'd be so awful.
Yeah, no. But like, it's just funny because it was like almost word for word.
Wow.
But in one way, it made me feel good because he is such a good comic.
Yeah.
That I was like, man, that made me feel good because that I wasn't even sure if this joke would work, and he did it, and it worked great.
Well,
but now I can't do it anymore. Like,
yeah, well, I wonder then, like maybe the idea of like posting it on Patreon sort of locks it in as a copyright in a way, and then in this current cancel culture, climate, it's like the first to put it out gets it.
But I mean, yeah, the thing is, even the one thing I've discovered too, it's happened a few times now where I listen to a comic and basically I realize that what they're a way bigger comic, and they're known more. And this whole joke they just did and released on YouTube or Instagram or whatever, I have something so similar that I came up with on my own. I tell it differently, but it's too similar, and I gotta just scrap that one now.
Do you think it's a coincidence? It's definitely a coincidence, right?
Oh yeah. But it's like, I mean, that's the thing, is there's certain premises that are just like there's one joke. I'm not finding it on here anyways, but there's like one joke that I did that I love, and it gets a great laugh. And it's basically, I talk about equality, and I've done it a few times now. I talk about equality, and I say, I say something like, I like to keep things topical, especially nowadays. So this guy, Thomas Jefferson, and that always gets a laugh, just like that. I go, Tom Jefferson, famous for writing all men are created equal, even though he owned slaves. But it's not true. We're not all equal. We're not, we're not equal, and that's okay. Equal means the same. That's what it means. And men and women, we're not equal. We're not the same, and that's okay. We should have equal pay, equal job opportunities, equal rights, equal respect, but we're not the same, and that's okay. In fact, my favorite thing about my wife is that she doesn't have a dick. I love that about her. She's a nice lady, but she also doesn't have a dick, and that's really nice.
It's good delivery.
So that's the idea, and it usually does really well. One time live, I screwed up because I was nervous, and I said, in fact, my favorite thing about my wife is that she has a dick. I said it back, and people were like, "What?" And then I was like, I just kept going with it. I was like, "It's a joke. It's a joke."
Tried to recover.
But I heard this other comic. I don't even know. I don't really know this comic, but I heard another comic almost say it's very similar.
Yeah.
He set up the whole thing about equal and everything. And then his punchline was that his favorite thing about his girlfriend is that she doesn't have a dick. And I'm like,
wow,
what the heck? Like,
that's crazy.
So I don't know if I can do that joke.
That's like such a bummer, huh?
But I mean, I might still do it.
You could just change it up.
Yeah. I don't know. Anyways,
you're flexible. You're a caricature artist. You're flexible.
Yeah.
It's actually it's always interested me. It's funny that you're so into comedy because I, at the same time, even before our last podcast, I was following a lot of comedians on YouTube and stuff. And it's just funny how similar comedians are to independent artists, you know,
yeah.
Like the hustle, the grind, the failure, succeed, you know?
Yeah.
So I relate to that. And,
well, also there's the creative aspect of it. Like I think as someone who does caricature type stuff, there's a lot of similarities to that with comedy. Like the setup, the idea, the delivery,
right.
The humor, how much you're putting in, how much you're pulling back, and then we want that response.
Right.
Like what's the response going to be? You know, am I antagonizing him? You know, like. You know,
it's funny how much caricatures prepare you for like something else.
Yeah.
You know, like I remember for a while before I had my first daughter, I was apprenticing as a tattoo artist, and you're supposed to be scared to do your first tattoo, you know?
Yeah.
But all the fire that I walked through in the caricature booth of having people surrounding you, watch you do your first airbrush caricature, like that killed that fear for me. So my first tattoo was like whatever, and I was just so bored doing caricature or tattooing. I was so bored doing tattooing because it took so long, you know. And I had already done body painting. It's like, God, I'd be done painting a full body by now, and I'm like just doing this 4-inch tattoo on the arm.
Yeah.
So I got out of that. But it's interesting. Like I think you have an advantage as a starting comedian because of your history facing the difficulties of being a caricature artist or a freelance illustrator painter, you know. It's definitely a plus.
Well, I mean, it's also something that I should have done a long time ago because it's something I've always wanted to do, and I've always been a person that is trying to get a laugh, like ever since I was a little kid. Like I call it collecting laughs. Like it's the you know, like if you think about the dark crystal, they drain their essence. You know, I want to drain people from their laughter. Like I want to collect their laughter. It's like Monsters Inc.
See, this is the stuff,
you know?
Like the way you just said that, to me that's comedic gold. Like you have to be more conversational like that and just tell stories like that. Like that's a joke right there. Like write that shit down.
Oh, good thing I'm recording.
Yeah.
But that's, you know, it's I mean, I was talking to a comedian on my podcast recently about the same thing. I think I was talking about it on the podcast, but anyways, like when I was a kid, there was this couple that we would go to church afterwards with this couple, and my mom and dad, we'd go to Taco Bell every single after church. Taco Bell was the place. And I would always get a bean burrito, no onions, plus sour cream and tomatoes or something like that. That was my thing. Anyways, this guy, he had a lot of breathing difficulties. He had a lot of issues, and I love to make him laugh so hard because he almost died. Like every time I would tell a joke, and I was like, "Can I kill him?" Like, and I would say the most inappropriate things. Like, so he was black, and his wife was like this bigger lady, like heavyset white lady with long blonde hair, and I would just say, like, he was a drummer. He would drum at church, but he was terrible. He was a terrible drummer. And I would just say things like, "Yo, Preston, how can you be so bad at rhythm?" I mean, you know, like, and he's like, "What are you talking about?" I'm like, man, you're like you're hanging out with this white lady too much because you have no rhythm at all. But I'm like 12 years old saying this stuff, like, and he's just like dying. He's like, and my parents are like, that's so inappropriate. But once I would get him laughing, I would just keep pushing it. But yeah, terrible drummer, could not drum at all. I mean, I would sit there and I go, it's 1 and 2 and I would say stuff like that.
See, Jason, man, that's another, like, you got to write that shit down. That's another good joke. The way you told that whole story, dynamite.
But it was hilarious, like,
and it's relevant too.
Yeah, it was one of the best things. And I swear, one time he was like choking and like grabbing for air, and I wouldn't stop. And my parents were like, "Stop, Jason, stop!" I'm like, "No, I'm almost there. I'm so close."
Yes.
Yeah. Bring more burritos. Gosh. Hey, I want to hear about your motorcycle thing, but I have another question for you from a fan.
Questions from fans.
This question comes from Crystal Slacks.
Oh, perfect. I know Crystal.
Do you?
Yeah.
Hello, Paul. My name is Crystal Slacks, and I was wondering... I was wondering if you're single. You're so cute. Who are you talking to? What? I said, who are you talking to? Ew, Mom. I'm on the phone. Sorry, that was my mom. So, anyways, I want you to paint me so bad. Can you make me look like a mixture of Kamala Harris and Mary Magdalene, but hotter? Does anyone else smell burnt feathers?
He knows already. She knows.
Yeah.
I've already told her. I don't have to publicly answer that. She knows.
Well, do you think you could do that? Do you think you could make her look like a mixture of Kamala Harris and Mary Magdalene?
Yes.
But hotter.
Yes.
Like, how would you create that?
With an airbrush and just let it flow.
Like maybe a pantsuit. Like I'm picturing like a woman's pantsuit, but with like make her feet look like Converse, like Chuck Taylor's.
Well,
and then where would the Mary Magdalene stuff come in? Like
Rex was Rex a foot fetish guy? I can't remember. The short-term memory. Rex would be disappointed if I put Converse on there, and I want to do it for Rex.
Yeah. So what happened with this motorcycle accident?
Yeah, see, like how I forgot if Rex was a foot fetish guy.
Yeah.
Like those little short-term memory things. It's crazy. I was rolling by the beach. I think I was going like 40 miles an hour. I don't remember the accident, so I'm telling you based off of.
You don't remember that?
I don't remember the accident.
Oh my God!
But apparently, the car did a U-turn. So if I'm going this way up, the car did a U-turn in front of me, and I hit the passenger side and flew over the car and hit my head first in like cement. Flew 15 feet, and I didn't black out. Or
were you wearing a helmet?
Yeah, of course. If I didn't have a helmet, I'd probably be dead or drooling. And I don't know if I blacked out or not, but the police showed up. I was sitting on the ground talking and telling them what happened. I don't remember any of that. I sort of came to in the hospital. I don't remember the ambulance. Came to in the hospital, and it was like you see in the movies when you sort of open your eyes and you're being pulled into a room, and then you close your eyes and you open them again, and you're somewhere else. Yeah, so that was that. So I broke 3 ribs. I broke my collarbone, and I had a serious concussion. And like my bones are all healed. I had surgery. I have a plate and screws, and my whole shoulder is numb, and it's probably going to be numb forever. most of it or part of it at least. But the concussion is not really getting any better. And it's kind of a good thing and a bad thing because there are things that you like to forget, you know.
So do you actually have you're having memory issues right now?
Definitely. Yeah. It's weird. I forget the littlest things. I had like I can't think of a story off the top of my head, but I had submitted 3 artworks to a gallery and I just delivered it to them, and I didn't tell anyone that I was submitting 3 and that I was even in this show. And then literally 2 hours later, another gallery was promoting my work, saying, "Oh, check out Paul Roustan's work. He's showing 3 pieces in this gallery." And I was like, "What? How did they know?" Like, and so I called the gallery guy and I said, "Did you tell people, or did the assistant gallery person tell the people?" And like, how did they know about this thing? We didn't tell anybody. And I was freaking out. I was like, "What is going on? Like, how did that?" Like, I couldn't understand how that happened. And I went downstairs and told my wife, like, the gallery shared that I was doing this. I don't know how they found out. And she's like, "Oh, you shared it on your newsletter yesterday." And I was like, "Oh," on my mailing list, you know. And it's man. I just forget things, or like I forget. Like, I might forget this whole podcast tomorrow.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Face the Truth.
Jason, good to see you.
We just keep going in a loop.
Yeah. Groundhog's Day. I don't know.
So is your wife like make you get rid of the motorcycle? Like, this is it?
No, I got a new motorcycle.
Oh,
no. It's too nice to ride out here. Like I said, I don't remember the accident, so there's nothing for me to be afraid of, really.
Yeah, but your wife is probably like, I mean, she taking out some. You guys change your insurance policy or something.
Well, I increased it. So here's a good tip.
She's like, ride more, baby.
This is a good tip that the whole world.
You're a very talented motorcycle rider. Keep go out there more.
But here's something I learned from this experience that I wish I knew beforehand. The most important part of your auto insurance or your motorcycle insurance is the uninsured, underinsured portion. You want to max that out as much as you can. Mine was minimum, and the girl who I hit, even though it was her fault, hers was set to the minimum. And as a result, the most I can get out of it was like 15 grand, which basically goes to the attorneys and to the hospital. So I get nothing. There's even a chance that I'm going to have to pay some money out of pocket. But if I had that set, which I have it higher now, if I had it set to like 250,000, I'd be banking right now. I'd have like a nice chunk of change. And so that's a lesson learned for next time. But so anybody,
you need to buy yourself like a padded suit.
They have those. They have like a weird like inflatable.
It needs to be like a snowmobile suit. Was that guy from Dumb and Dumber? He's riding a motorcycle.
Jim Carrey. Jim Carrey and oh my God, what's his name?
Jeff Daniels.
Jeff Daniels. There you go.
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Face the Truth.
Jason.
Hey, I have one more question for you.
Questions from fans.
All right.
And this one comes from Paul Farrell. Paul Farrell. Let's see here.
Hello, Paul. Hello, Jason. Hope you're all doing well. My name is actually Paul too, so we have that in common. Maybe we can grab a beer sometime and talk about how we have the same name, Paul. That makes me think of my favorite Alanis Morissette song, Isn't It Ironic? Hey, who's your favorite Beatle, Paul? Sorry, that's not my question. My question has to do with your line of work, of course. How do you get the woman to go home with you? Do you Buffalo Bill it? Ask them to help you carry something and put it in the back of your white van? Put the lotion in the basket, Paul. Am I right? Ha 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 ha. No, seriously. How do you do it? I just bought a white van.
I probably shouldn't have bought the van. It's not a good investment.
So how do you get the women to come home with you?
Goddamn lotion in the basket.
Yeah, I think that I think there's a lot of people that are confused about what you like. How do you do this? Yeah, how do you approach a person like to do what you do? Like especially during this pandemic right now.
Yeah.
Like you'd be like, hey, I mean, obviously, you probably have like a bunch of people you worked with before already, so it's really easy.
Which I like. I like the relationship already established, so it's always good. But I have been working with a lot more newer models lately, and it's definitely not as easy as it used to be. I think Instagram is making things really complicated with the whole direct messaging setup, where if you guys aren't following each other, you they don't see the message, or they ignore it, or who knows why. But like I recently had a gig where I had to paint 2 people, and it was a paid gig, and I reached out to like 30 different models and got 1 response. It was really bizarre. It was good pay and everything. So I don't know what's going on. But normally, like when I started, I painted one model for a magazine, and then I painted another model that I met at a magazine release party. And then I painted one of my neighbors, and then I painted a 4th model. So I had 4 models, and then I basically had a small portfolio. And from there, people wanted me to paint them. So it no longer became like a thing where I had to throw people in the van.
It is interesting because, I mean, it's got to be the fact that your canvas is on someone's body. It's interesting because for you don't even think about, you're just creating art, but to other people, their perspective looking in is like he's painting naked chicks.
Yeah.
Like Rex the Tex was very confused about this.
Yeah.
Do you ever have people like, do you ever, like, especially with Instagram and all this kind of stuff, do you ever have people like that are upset with you about this kind of stuff, about the kind of art you do? Especially with the whole cancel culture thing, like is it like people, it's like like, well, I want to hear about some of this.
Haters. You want me to read you some of my haters?
I want to hear about some of this.
I keep a little file of my favorite hate.
Oh man, I collect laugh. Do you collect hate?
Yes. Some of them are like intense, and some of them are just like mind blowing. So I keep my favorites. Let me see. It'll take me a second. Oh, one of them was really long. I don't know if I'm going to read that one. Okay. All right. All right. Here's this one to get it going. This is a comment I got. Can you shit on my face, please? Adultery, sinners. And then girls wonder why you are getting raped more now than 50 years ago, because you have all become whores.
Oh my gosh.
The painting guy is impotent.
How did they know that though?
For the blonde with the saggy tits and skinny legs, please put more paint on. This is the dumbest thing I've seen in years. If she falls on me, I'm not responsible if I go inside of her. What a fucking dickhead. That one's a good. What a lot of crap. If you think this is actually art, you're a dumbass. It is literally a person sitting nude with a shark head on. How can that guy paint with a heart on? It must have been so awkward to be painting. It must have been so awkward to be painting because a male was painting her. So retarded, just one more way for attention whores to get the fix. Like, I get it. It's even titled nymph, but god damn it, women are whores. Typical shit art exploiting a woman's body for publicity, pure shit. Nice long nipples, by the way. Repent and turn away from your sin. You will be held accountable for driving men to lust. This children of the devil who is playing with the things of God, your end will be sad. Stupid ass video.
I love how they're like, you're sexualizing these women. You're misogynistic. You're a pig. But by the way, nice long.
Yeah, exactly. Embarrassing. Do you always live this way? Do you bathe?
Oh,
I sure hope that's all temporary. Tattoos are pretty ugly.
okay.
Hold on. I know that she looks like she smells terrible.
Oh my gosh, I'm so glad that you keep these.
Some people have too much free time on their hands. Seriously, all this body painting nonsense is pretty pathetic. Why not do something meaningful?
Oh my god.
What a waste of my time. I learned nada, zero, nothing, boring. Roustan, your art is simply soft porn. You're a pimp and take advantage of that which God created. The one-track mind of men. The brain is the largest sexual origin of the body. Pirates, pimps, no different. Enjoy your drugged-up ladies that too were created to fuck over mankind and men. Evil comes prancing, all painted up. What a guy you are. Not a man. Pimp boy. Damn sure no artist.
How is this real? Oh my gosh.
Demon costumes. You love nudity and the devil is laughing at your minds, unfortunately.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, I got this. Yeah, I'm not going to read the long. The long one is like, it's like a novel.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
It's insane.
I've turned off my YouTube comments because
I'm so glad I asked you. That's so funny.
When something goes viral, I just get inundated with that. So I turn off the comments because it sucks to like wake up on a beautiful morning and grab your phone and see all these notifications, and like half of them are super negative like that. It's like too much to consume.
Dude, I was so excited that I got to paint the Time Person of the Year cover again. For the second time, I got a Person of the Year cover, and I couldn't believe it. And I was so excited, and I was so happy with how the painting turned out. It's like everything came together, and I was just like so like pumped. You know, I was proud of the work I did. I'm one of only a few artists that have ever painted Time Person of the Year cover twice.
Yeah,
and I think I'm the only person to ever do it digitally. You know, it's like so there's a lot of cool things and cool aspects. And then I found out that both my covers, you know, which is funny because I am so like anti-Catholic, but both my covers, there was like this Time thing that came out, like the you know, the top 10 iconic Catholic covers, the Time magazine, and of course my Pope, and then my Biden cover, and because Biden's Catholic, I guess. So there's like all these things that I was like, I feel so honored, like it was almost overwhelming.
Yeah.
And then I went to to look at the comments, and right away I'm like, oh well, okay. All that excitement is just kind of gone because everyone just shitting on me, like saying people told me that my family should be ashamed of me.
Wow.
How you know that Biden should not be on the cover? Why? Just like as if I have any choice of who was on the cover. But I mean, I can't do it now. It would just be too painful to relive. But the cover, the comments underneath on my Instagram, on my Facebook, and then the private messages I was getting from people that were so angry, and I had to block so many people. I had to block people that I've had on my Facebook page for years that have been, you know, friendly, but they started writing some insane things to me, and I was like, dude, what? And it was like, I understand you might be upset that that's who ended up on the cover, but I just did the painting, like,
Yeah.
but like cursing my family.
It's annoying because
like,
you paint
stuff like that.
you paint people that you don't agree with too. Like you just
Yeah.
do the job, It's,
Yeah. So yeah, it's funny. People get very
crazy.
confused. I gotta tell you too, a lot of illustrators out there are very confused too, because they will only paint. It's like they choose one side politically, and it's like, and I can understand maybe there's some security in that. But I think, I don't take it seriously.
Yeah.
Because I think politics are ridiculous. I think our government's ridiculous. I think our politicians are ridiculous. And it's funny. Like, I can't stand Donald Trump. Well, that's not true. He entertains me. Like, I love his voice. His character he's fun to draw.
What? I'm out of here.
As a person, of course, politically, and as a person, I think he's a dick, and I can't stand him.
Damn your family.
Yeah, but just because you vocally say that, all of a sudden everyone assumes that you love Biden, or like they'll be like, whatever. But it's just, I just find it really funny. Like, I'll post something, like I'll post like my time cover with Biden and Kamala, and people will start commenting, why don't you ever do something negative about Trump? And I'm like, dude, have you ever seen any of my work? Like,
yeah,
just look.
Yeah, they never look. They never.
Yeah, and
look.
it's like it's. I just find it so funny because it happens all the time. It happens all the time where, I posted so I think just before the I can't remember the order now. I think it was just before that time cover came out. I did a Biden cover where I had him tied down. He's like sitting at the Oval Office in the desk, but he's like tied down. Like and it's obviously, his hands are tied. That was like the joke. It wasn't like a pro Biden cover. It wasn't like terrible either. It was kind of just obviously just being very obvious about what's going on. But someone will post, why don't you do anything negative about Biden? Or I was like, well, just look through like literally 2 posts before that where I did that drawing. And then the same thing, like, I mean, I don't think I've ever done a positive Trump thing. But I just think it's funny. People are so crazy. And like I said, even with the whole NFT thing, how people, people are getting angry about that as well.
Yeah, I did a ton of research regarding that too. And it's definitely doing harm, just like Amazon and
but see, that's the thing.
Postal Service.
I mean, isn't it just talking back and forth to me in your DMs on your phone, isn't that using a lot of energy?
Yeah. I mean, they say it's not as bad as the blockchain, but there's just a lot of falsities and myths. I mean, right now it's bad and everybody's working on improving it, but it's just the fact that it's so in demand,
Yeah.
Like anything, like Amazon is bad as far as the climate. Google, I researched the hell out of all of it. Google's actually pretty good because they set up wind power with their servers, so they're actually not harming the environment at all. But so everybody's working to do that, but it takes like change, and it's.
I mean, I looked it up, and it to make one cotton T-shirt emits more energy than to mint something. So
you got to shipping and everything.
Yeah, we're gonna stop wearing T-shirts.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying, don't care about the environment. I'm definitely all about caring for the environment and being respectful and everything. But it's just, my point is that like people just lose their minds, about, everything right now is just insane.
It's super hypersensitive right now. And that's why I say again that I'm just not crazy about media as a whole.
Yeah.
And how they're choosing to like when something's trending, they choose to put it out there for more money, and people consume it because it's drama, and it's like, God, just turn it off so that it all just kind of calms down a little bit. Like with this whole pandemic, the first 3 months, I mean, I delivered artwork to a buyer, and and they wouldn't open their door. They were like, just leave it outside and I'll Venmo you the money. I'm like, okay. It's like, I'm not going to kill you. Like, I'm not going to spread a disease on you. I'll stay 6 feet away. You can open the door. But like, I was out all the time, whether it was moving stuff from house to house or out shooting or going to the beach or whatever. I was out. I did it. But there are people that really locked themselves up for months and didn't leave their house. And can you imagine like the paranoia and the mental health and the physical health?
Well, dude, when this first happened here in Chicago, it was so crazy because first of all, my wife was very pregnant.
Yeah.
And
scary.
so we were being extra safe just because I don't want to risk her getting or me getting it and give it to her or whatever. Yeah. And it was interesting. It was kind of like resorting back to caveman days where this is our cave. Mm-hmm. I go out, I get food,
right.
I come back, I'm basically, and I'm the one that's going out there and risking my life with all these like, air breathers out there and like going to the stores, and all the stores the shelves were just like the first couple months, it was just crazy. Like nothing was weird, on the shelves.
The whole toilet paper ordeal.
And at the exact same time, in Chicago, we had the crazy riots, like that went on for quite a while. So there was, on top of everyone freaking out about the virus, grocery stores were like empty shelves, and then like everything was boarded up, like everywhere. Like it just felt like so crazy. It's like I went to the grocery store I normally go to, really nice Mariano's grocery store here, and everything's boarded up. You go inside, it looks dark, it's gloomy, and it's just like, man, what is
it's so
happening?
weird.
So it's easy. I think it's easy at that stage of everything for fear to be set in to people. So people, I think a lot of at the beginning of this whole thing, were really reacting to the fear a lot more.
And I think that most people are really, really governed by fear. And I think that, me, definitely not. I hop right back on a motorcycle. I'll go and do some dangerous photo shoot on a cliff somewhere. Like, I don't care. I'll go shoot I don't care. Like, we're all going to die someday. Like, I don't care about prolonging it. So I don't worry. And I think that was learned from caricature, like the first fires that you walk through, just like diminishing that fear so that you can just produce what you want to do, But I think most people are just governed by fear. And it's a sad thing. It's a really sad thing to me. Like, it's disappointing. I wish people weren't like that.
Well, again, that goes to the media as well. Like, it's just a shit show, what they say, what they're saying as truth about things.
Right.
And I'm not talking about, left-wing media and right-wing media. Like it's all crap.
Everybody's guilty.
It's all crap. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I can definitely understand that. I'm just happy that things seem to be clearing up. Chicago seems to be opening a little bit more. We actually finally, because I feel like we've been locked up inside. Like, there's been nowhere to go in Chicago. Like, there's been nothing. And like
because you have winter. You had to deal. I didn't have to deal with winter.
Yeah, and like we just recently we went out to eat for the first time with family. Went to this Italian restaurant, but it was in the suburbs, and everything was opened up. You still have to wear a mask when you go inside and everything, but they distance everything. But I was like, oh my gosh, we're like in a restaurant ordering food. It was like so crazy.
How do you do this?
Yeah, it was just it was nice to like go out. Like, oh yeah, I remember this. Yeah. But the funny thing is my toddler, she's 3. She hasn't been in a restaurant in over a year. She doesn't know how to behave in a restaurant, and it was like, oh
that
god,
sucks.
like she wouldn't she was just being super loud, and she kept like getting down and running. She kept trying to go into the kitchen through the doors, and I'm like, we had to keep chasing her, and like no,
that's the part that I feel bad about, man. It's like
no social thing with the kids too. Yeah,
it's such a weird thing.
She always wants to play with other kids, and you can't play with other kids right now.
And this is normal for them now. Like it's always going to be a part of life.
Yeah, and she's fine. Like she'll freak out. Like we get out of the car, and she'll start almost having anxiety. Like oh no, my mask. She's like 3 years old, and she has to wear this mask. And it's like,
it's so heartbreaking, man.
Yeah, and it's I'm happy that she at least keeps it on, because I was worried about that at first. Like she wasn't going to keep it on when we go into a store. But now it's like it's like a normal thing for her. For a 3-year-old, she has to wear a mask,
Yeah,
So-
that's frustrating. That's one thing that I'm struggling to accept.
Yeah.
Like, because I'm just trying to imagine my daughters are 12 and 11, and if I had to do this when I was 12, I wouldn't be into it, man. I want to ride my bike and
Yeah.
play. I mean,
Hopefully it starts clearing up soon and all that kind of stuff. It's been a crazy ride.
well, it's weird because everything is opening up here, but what I'm seeing, the best news media that I've been getting is like on YouTube, like vloggers and stuff that are actually in it. So there's no editor, there's no middleman. Like one of the vloggers I follow, Dr. Mike, he's a pretty funny doctor in the Bronx. So I was really listening to what he had to say. He's like in the trenches, and putting it out there. But like supposedly, I mean, there's like a 4th wave happening right now, and Berlin just shut down. I saw from a tattoo artist. He had to close his shop again. But the world is like not responding to that. It's just like, no, we're reopening. Like California just announced that they're like shutting down all their tiers starting in June, so everything can open back up to normal as long as numbers stay down and certain requirements. But it's like, I don't think it's actually better.
Yeah. I don't know, man.
But again, I'm like, whatever. Like, I'm gonna keep doing what I'm doing. Like, you guys do what you want, I'm doing what I want.
Yeah, you got to keep swimming, man.
Yeah. I feel it's weird to me that like people are racing to get a vaccine to prolong their life, but they just wasted a whole year. You basically didn't use a year of your life. And in my eyes,
what do you mean? Like people that just didn't do anything at all?
Just
like
locked up, just stayed in, didn't go outside.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of a dilemma about everything right now. Is it's like, should we have locked everything down the way we did? I personally don't think that we should have. I think it was terrible for our economy and our country. But
mental health,
yeah. But I mean, at the same time, I also believe in being safe, and we need to respect other people. But I think that it was a little extreme. And again, like I said, terrible for our economy and for so many families, so many businesses lost. I mean, there had to have been a better way to do this where we could have been safe and keep things open.
I mean, of course, everything hindsight is 2020, right? But,
yeah, exactly. I mean, it's really sad. I mean, I've noticed so many places in Chicago that are just gone, and it's like, man, there's like,
yeah, that's a bummer.
So many people have been struggling.
The mom and pop shops that are closing. Oh my God, it's heartbreaking.
Yeah,
but for me, like the biggest thing that I realized, the whole shutdown, I was like, no, I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing. And I was producing content. And then I got into the motorcycle accident. And for the first time ever, I couldn't do anything. Yeah. I had to lay in bed basically for 2-3 weeks. And after the 3 weeks, my shoulder muscles were significantly atrophied, smaller than I'd ever seen in my life. And I was like, that's crazy. 2 weeks is all it took. Imagine all the people that have been not exercising or doing anything this whole year, how bad their physical state is. And like Joe Rogan, is constantly talking about keeping your body healthy and building up your immunity. And that's never talked about, And I think that's important. That's very important.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, this is a real exciting and happy conversation. Hey, hey, everybody! Welcome to another episode of Face the Truth.
Jason,
hey. So I do have to wrap this up, but before we go, is there anything that you have coming up? I want you to promote what you're doing. Promote your Patreon. Everybody needs to support him, and if you are a subscriber to him, I want to steal not only laughs but all of his followers as well. So come on over here. Let's do some wife swapping. Let's do some like not wife swapping.
Your wife has a dick.
Yeah, my wife.
Don't take that out of context.
Yeah, it's gonna.
And on this interview with Paul Roustan, your wife has it.
Yeah. And very long nipples.
Yeah, I guess just my YouTube channel, youtube.com/Roustan, ROUSTAN, and my Patreon, patreon.com/ROUSTAN. That's pretty much, I mean, I'm trying to sell merch and stuff, but it's all about YouTube and Patreon right now for me.
Awesome.
And I want to help you get there too. Just keep doing what you're doing, Jason.
I'll keep it up, man. And I'm going to take your advice and try to make some smaller videos and that sort of a thing, if I can. Somehow I just turned my mic off. Hopefully it hasn't been off for a while.
No, it's louder. I hear you better than I did before.
Oh my gosh. hopefully, I think I turned it off somehow. That's terrible. Anyways, thank you so much. This has been a lot of fun joking around and talking with you, man.
Yeah, man.
And everyone out there, be safe, and we will see you next time.
Chimichanga.
You want answers? The truth shall set you free. I think I'm entitled. You want answers. I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.